So, how y'all feeling on Minerals? Minerals is one of the best decks. Minerals is so crazy with the OTK. The fact that they have a Digi-Egg, they can just gain memory whenever you trash it, and it's like, it doesn't have to be once per turn. It makes sense. You couldn't like print a card that would be hard once per turn. Like if it happened that turn, it's over. That would be one of the best solutions. But they cannot print that, and the fact that every close or the new Sunarizamon can put cards under the Magnetic Dry again, or any of your cards at any point, is insane with that deck, right? Also, removal-wise, you have Digivolve, which is one of the strongest stack reduction effects, let's call it. Zoma is in the chat, loses to Belfemon, so it's B tier. Yeah, makes a lot. It can win local. No, obviously, it will be a regional win. At some point, you'll have events where you just have a Magnetic Drop player that draws godly, right? Actually, I arranged these three decks, the first three decks, for a good reason, because not only will Magnetic Drop be an obvious regional winner, but we also got Hudimon. The new elephant in the room, I'd say. Hudimon. Who designed Hudimon? Hudimon is one of the most busted cards that we have ever seen, and it's not even close. It's full in archetype. I mean, you can mix it with other cards, like from other archetypes or some other DNA shenanigans with like Imperialdramon or Sakuyamon from BT23. But the biggest power comes from just using it with Hudi cards, and this is where it shines the most, and it's so busted. The BT22 rookies that you just put the new Sakuyamon that you can DNA with the Hudimon. So you have another level 4, you DNA Hudimon to Sakuyamon, and because that's a new Digimon, you can get the when attacking from Hudimon once again, which is once per turn, but not if you DNA Digivolve. So nice card design. Hudimon OTKs are pretty, I don't want to say rare because they have like 10 million draws, but even if you have a deck that doesn't specifically go for this kind of OTK, you still have it as an option, and obviously you're going to play 4 Tichose, 4 Hudimon, 4 Sakuyamon, and some amount of BT22 rookies to actually facilitate when attacking on the same turn that you DNA Digivolve. Apart from that, the Hudi Tamers are also insane. Have you actually read what Erika does? Like the green tamer? Erika is so nuts. You bounce something back to hand and then you set up your raising. That's like, when people talk about Ukomon, right? Ukomon gives you tempo because whenever you move out, you can also hatch and then you can Digivolve and raising back again. But Hudimon does it in reverse. If you move out and do stuff, Erika does the same thing. And you've got Erika at some point in the combo, you could play out something with the inherited of the new Hudi rookies, right? You can play out the level, play cost 5 or lower, draw a card, get something with Alliance, search something with the Godsumon. And after you're done with your entire thing, you just get out an Erika. Erika bounces something, and you have something in raising for next turn, which is insane. And then Erika also gains you some memory, and you also have a memory setter in archetype, which you can cheat out easily. So, Jesus Christ, Hudimon is insanely strong. Next up, Gallantmon. What am I supposed to say, right? Gallantmon is still one of the strongest decks. It even got support in BT23 Gallantmon, which just turns off like a 6 of the meta, a 6 of the entire deck landscape, right? You can't actually play, okay, you can play Levia, you have hard time playing Purple Hybrid, you have hard time playing Virus Imperial. Also, not the best time playing Lucemon, but who cares about Lucemon? And also Myotismon, Myotismon and everything else is really hard impacted by the new Gallant. And apart from that, even if you are not floodgated with your entire game plan being thrown off the window, Gallantmon just OTKs you. So yeah, one of the best decks. I'm not shocked if we see some regional wins from that. But with that, I would conclude the entire regional winner, like save calls to S tier and just leave these 3 on the top, right? That's my call. We've also obviously got the A tier, which is like top cut contender. Like you will see decks most certainly in the top cut and maybe win the event. I'm not too sure about that, but they might show up in top cut. Local winner is just a little bit better, a little bit worse, and C and D tier is just whatever. So from now on, the actual tier list happens, because I don't think anyone is going to argue against Magnetic Hudimon and Gallantmon. Magnamon, I think Magnamon is just a local winner. Being immune is kind of nice, but the deck doesn't do much. It's not flashy enough for the meta, I think. If you look at Hudimon, like, so Magnetic and Gallantmon, they just OTK through Magna X, I believe. Like, you can just set up like 3 turns, because Magnamon is not that fast, and you can just set up and then deal with the entire board. Like, even if he's unaffected, you can just set up something or just go through it. Like, I have no doubt that these 2 decks will do a lot of damage. And Hudimon has barriers, so blocking doesn't do a lot of things. You might White Ace, which is kind of okay, but I don't know. Hudimon can just go through this as well, I believe. Or you can just go into, what's it called, to the level 6 Venusmon and just turn off everything, right? So no, Magnamon I think is a little bit too slow, but still pretty strong. Adventure is somewhere between A and B. So I think the strongest build of Adventure is the one that has a lot of green level 5s. And if you get the green level 5s for fairly cheap out, you could just digivolve Medieval on top. But I don't think the strongest decks really are counted by Medieval. So I don't know. Even Hudimon does can do minus 11k before they actually commit to or give priority to the opponent to use Medieval altars. So removing Medieval before he actually gets to do something is kind of a downside. And I think the other Adventure decks, I don't know, they're just played around better these days. I would put it at, I don't know, I don't want to see it in local. Like, I can see a good Adventure player doing something. It's kind of consistent, right? You just need to two aimers and then you're efficient as hell. Fishes are either fun deck or local winner. I'd say it's a fun deck. You can OTK, of course, sure, but you need a lot of cards. And I mean, if you want to OTK, just play Gallant or Magnetic. Justimon is, I don't know if it's even a fun deck, because if you play all of the devices, you'll break, and that's not pretty fun. So I don't know. But I wouldn't put a local winner. I can't see like a Justimon winning a local. Leviamon is a top card contender. Leviamon is forced to be reckoned with. He can easily dash out 6 checks with Leviamon X, force your opponent to play something by effect, and then you digivolve on top of Diaboromon or on top of Cerberus X. But Cerberus X can't force the opponent to play something by effect, so yeah, that's a problem. But you can be pretty smart about it, right? So Leviamon players might have to put in some brain work to get it done, but I believe it. Moving on, Puppets. I don't know where Puppets went. I'd say it's still a local winner because they're able to use the Liberator searcher. They can just double hit, set up some tamers, go into the option card, which is the emblem of, I don't know, emblem of Puppets, I believe. I'm not too deep into the story. Yeah, I still think it's pretty strong. I don't know where it went. It loses to Medieval, I guess, if the Medieval has been put up preemptively, and everyone's on Medieval, I guess. So that's the local win. MachineDramon, which is the pure hard slam MachineDramon. We also have a Vaidmon coming up for the DM base MachineDramon. But hard slam MachineDramon, let it be black base, let it be purple base, is still pretty strong. I wouldn't say it's one of the strongest decks, but it's still, I mean, not one of the top 3. It's still one of the strongest decks. That's how I want to phrase it, right? I don't even know how they do it. Honestly, I've seen MachineDramon players. I've had a local player of mine go 8-0 at a regional. He actually won that. But that's too savage. I don't know how they do it. Like, you only have like 9 rookies or 10 rookies. Half of them are Ukomon. You have some tamers in Endlookman, the old one and the new one, and the rest is just Cyborgs and MachineDramon. I have no idea how they do it. They're just pretty fast. I have no idea how it works, but it's beyond my understanding how exactly they always win the games. Next up, which I understand a little bit more, is MBase Machine. So the MBase MachineDramon has had a blow up out of nowhere, because Vaidmon has been around since BT22, and just recently, like a few weeks ago, after EX10 release, people started using that, bouncing tamers left, right, digivolving left, right, and then going into MachineDramon. And obviously all of the MachineDramon cyborgs, the new ones, are DM based, so you can also search them and gain effects and digivolve into them with the meat, the option card, right? That's insanely strong. It doesn't make sense in my mind why no one actually thought of the Vaidmon. I didn't, because I was really focused on the pre-release, and in pre-release you couldn't use that because all the DM cards were locked in EX9, but I didn't think about Constructed. I just skipped EX9 in my mind, apart from like Kaguya and Alta S. So yeah, shoutouts to everyone who used Vaidmon kind of early. Royal Knights, same thing. Royal Knights obviously has one of the strongest support waves that you can think of, right? The Gallantmon is awesome against every purple matchup. The new Craniamon is just a preemptive, whatever you do, I'll destroy your stack. And apart from that, you have the new Yggdrasil, which is just a substitute for the purchase. So yeah, what a strong deck. And also no one's on Leopardmon. I don't see anyone playing like 3 Leopardmon. Leopardmon into the old Omegamon is nuts, and I think people should play it more. Next up, we've got BlackWarGreymon. I think BlackWarGreymon, so one thing about the last regional, right? We had one top 16 player, Yatsumaki, which was actually on BlackWarGreymon. The only explanation that I had from that regional top is like every time he aced, he gained the intelligence of their opponent. Like, he decreased their intelligence and gained some more. Because with every medieval that they dropped, they would do more and more misplays, and with every BlackWarGreymon ace that would come into play from his side, he would gain just the understanding understanding of how to win with this deck. So I'm just joking. Like, it's obviously not of the strongest decks, but he has immunity, he can be unaffected, and he can force the opponent to attack. He gained memory with the starter deck, Agumon and Greymon. It has some stuff, but it's just, how do you win games? Like, you still need to get through 5 security and then attack for game. And with the new Metal Greymons trashing 1 security if you redirect on your opponent's turn, not all turns, which would be way too strong with Raid. No, it's just opponent's turn, you trash 1 security, and after that, your opponent is on 4 security, and you need to check manually with the BlackWarGreymon if you can't force your opponent to attack again while the first stack is on the board. So I have no idea how to win games with a BlackWarGreymon. Jesus, it's hardest force with immunity. Yeah, sure. Blue-green Imperialdramon, it's not going to show up in top card. Let's be real. Playing a DNA deck would just make no sense with Hudimon being around. If your DNA only does 2 checks and then the follow-up is kind of mixed, I don't know, man. Like, you don't want to go for Pale and just do 2 jamming checks. Apart from that, jamming? What is jamming nowadays? Do you want to hit a close? Do you want to hit a Gravel Hearts in security? Do you want to hit a Takado or a Kubo? Do you want to hit Chitose? Do you want to hit Mirai? Do you want to hit Yugo? I don't think. Preemptive damage with the speed that BT16 Imperialdramon had did wonders in BT16, right? But now is not the time to do 2 checks with jamming and then sit on Dragon mode. I don't think that's how we win games now. So, moving on, the Gilbirds, or birds in general, I don't know. No, we've got the birds. So, after Garuda X got hit, people just said, whatever, we're already playing the Growlmon X level 3 and level 4, so let's go to level 5, get the Wargroll, which also on deletion trashes the security. They're still doing the same thing, right? And then after they digivolved into that, they could just protoform into Phoenix X and then end of attack is online. It's, I think it might be able to hit top card. I don't think it's one of the strongest decks, and I think it's better than a local winner, because a lot of decks with the Growl X engine, which I'm just going to pull a little bit ahead by the way. Still 2 more decks here. I think they still have a place in the meta. And speaking of a place in the meta, I think Megidramon doesn't have that. Yeah, not too sure how Megidra players are doing their stuff. Like, there's a lot of interaction that can happen. And while you have like Gallant players going to Gallant X and Gilbert players just triggering every single on the leash in the stack once at the end of turn, at the end of attack, and maybe twice if the stack gets removed, Megidra players just force themselves to, I don't know, get the on the leash manually. Like, also the strongest part of the combo is having the Wargroymon from BT21 and attacking and using the when attacking to go into that to also get the end of attack. Because if you only use the when digivolving, you don't get your own on the leash. Something along those lines. I don't fully remember. Yeah, it's hard. You need the end of attack and you can be disrupted a little bit more than I think Gilberts. Or Gilberts can set up even better. Gilberts is a little bit better than Megidra. That's my point in case. Next up, we've got Wargroll. So Growl X loop, basically. However you want to call it. There are a lot of things that you can do with Growl X as a base, and I would classify all of them together with this one. Whatever the strongest thing is, let it be the old Minervamon, which can be played with Cerberusmon, Cerberus X, play out another body with Rush. Go into Minervamon when taking Unsuspend. Check twice with the Minervamon, then use Revive from Darkness to play out Cerberusmon and another Cerberusmon Werewolf mode to delete the Cerberusmon and do stuff like that. Or also just go Levia as the plan B. There are a lot of things you can do with Wargroymon. Also, I've seen Lord Knight deck lists, right, where you go Cerberus and Cerberus X on level 5 and Lord Knight X on level 6. Yeah, a lot of potential to just fill up your trash with the Growlmon X engine and then go into anything that your heart desires, right? It will be hit by the Gallantmon BT23, but one of the top decks is playing it, obviously. I don't think Hudimon players will play it, and Royal Knights plays it, so not everyone will be on that Gallantmon, but if they are on the Gallantmon, you have a pretty hard time. Moving on, a blast from the past, Galacticmon, I have no idea. Galacticmon has just lost nothing, but everyone gained a lot, so it's not working anymore. Deleting a lot of tamers is maybe they can't delete 8 play costs if they don't fully commit with Fusion Eyes, I believe. Either you do that and delete like 2 tamers against Hudi, which is fine because they can spam out another tamer from hand, I believe, because there are some memory efficient plays, but Galacticmon is still difficult, right, to get something out. Like, you can't swarm like some other normal decks would do. You go single stack, but your single stack has kind of weird implications. I don't know how to express it thoroughly, but I don't see Galactic doing all too much. The protection that you have also doesn't work that well into Digivolve from the magnetic draw. You can also just get OTK'd way before your first Galacticmon comes out from Gallant, and Hudimon is just Hudimon doing a lot of minus DP. One of your worst nightmares. Yeah, that's Galactic. Lucemon. I think Lucemon can be a local winner. Lucemon has so many high, let's say, security difference plays with the, let it be the new option card, Paradise and Lost, let it be the EX10 Lucemon, which just puts so much pressure into the board, because whenever you have 5 cards in security in trash, and you can also digivolve into Chaosmon in trash, so that would be your 6th card, you would always have like a pretty good turn, right? Because the Lucemon self combos with itself, because it also has the QPmon under. So you gain 1 memory, you put something in trash, especially you just put the Chaosmon in trash that you want to digivolve into, so you're pretty good. And then you trash your opponent's security. With the option card, you just trash your own security, whatever, because you can attack your opponent and he's on 3 security or 2 or even less. I don't know. Lucemon just has to dodge every digivolve in the game. Oh yeah, right. Again, look at the top decks. Like, we've got Magnetic Ra digivolving left and right, and we've got Hudimon with the Sakuyamon digivolving. You need to correct me if I'm wrong. What part of the Sakuyamon is the DNA part? I think the DNA part is digivolving, and the normal digivolving part is your opponent has to attack, right? Yes, I'm seeing yes, perfect. Next up, we've got S tier Beelzemon. No, I'm just kidding. So Beelzemon has gotten so good support. Like, the start of main Impmon is insane. The new Balmon is kind of nice. So the new Balmon is kind of nice because the old Balmon lost the on-deletion after your opponent's turn ended, right? So you would have to manually go into your Beelzemon if because everything else wouldn't be safe, right? You would lose your entire stack after trashing 6 cards with the second wave of when attacking. Okay. Or you could just risk it, right? But the new Balmon is kind of nice because it always has that on-deletion. It's pretty cool. But I don't know. Wait, it's still trash-based, right? I don't know. I've been impressed by the last regional. Like, I've seen these two. I've seen Myotismon, I've seen Soma on Beelzemon, and I'm really impressed. But Soma himself says recycle bin. I don't think it's that bad. It has trash access. Like, rivals can grab back anything from trash. Impmon X can grab back anything from trash. So that's kind of nice, isn't it? I think it's a local win. It's better than Jasmon. Come on, Justimon. You don't want to put it on the same tier as Justimon. I think that's reasonable for Beelzemon. Next up, we've got, let me think, that's just Genku Turtle. Genku Turtle, right? Like, all of these floodgates. So Genku Turtle, for those who are uneducated, you would just play out Ukomons, you just play out Hugmons and some other rookies with floodgate effects. Then at some point you go into Bauhag main effect, go into Genkumon. Genku X protects everything for 1 turn, and then you have game. Basically, that's it. It's kind of weird, right? But you protect your entire floodgates for 1 turn. Your opponent cannot out your things or build up anything because they're floodgated. So that's basically it. I think that could show up in Top Cut. I don't know. So here's the hard part, right? 2 of the 2 decks are just 2 of the top 3 decks are just single stack, and I don't care about most floodgates. Memory gain is kind of hard for both of them, but apart from that, I don't know. It's somewhere between Top Cut and local winner. I would tend to Top Cut a little bit. And while we're on the Genkumon part, I think Jasmon without floodgates is a little bit worse. It is more fun. It looks pretty cool and everything, but I think without floodgates, your turns will be I don't know, not that impactful. Like, you go, obviously you've seen the shiny Jasmon combo plays where you go 3 checks with double alliance into security and you're pretty cool, but you need to see more pieces for that, and you also have, again, less payoff. Checking your opponent's security if you don't finish in that turn can and will be to your disadvantage. That's just how it is. If you have 3 poke checks at once, you don't know what your opponent is going to get. You don't know how much they can get back into a situation. Maybe OTK through your Jasmon GX Ace. And what else do you have, right? Obviously, you play with Genku X and everyone is unaffected in the best case scenario. Or not even best case. Like, Genku and Genku X is like a playset in the new Jasmon decks. At least the ones that at least some of the decks that I've seen. I don't know. I think it's a little bit worse than Genku Turtle. So that's Jasmon. Omnimon is also in the same ballpark, right? So it's really hard to differentiate between, is it just going to win locals or will it also show up at the top 60? I think the time for Omni has kind of passed. It's still a really strong deck and it's insanely explosive, but your tamer reliance and your brick potential is just way too high for major events. That's it. I'll leave it at that. Purple Hybrid is a purple deck, and with Gallantmon meta will have a hard time shining. I've had one of my friends take a Royal Knights deck to the regionals in Düsseldorf, and I saw them, Royal Knights, right? I saw them sitting across a purple hybrid player with a Psychmon on board. And historically, the matchup was disastrous for Royal Knights. And then there was also already a Psychmon on board. So I was just shaking my head, going away from the table as a judge, and was like, oh man, this poor guy. And then I came after the entire round. I asked, well, how did you play against purple hybrid with Psychmon? And he was like, I beat him 2-0. What the hell? So that alone just gives me an impression purple hybrid has lost a lot of its power with the ban list that banned the Matt Ishida. And yeah, again, on top of that, Gallantmon comes into the mix. I don't think you'll have a pretty good time. Still, strong deck, don't get me wrong. Virus Imperial. Virus Imperial is also potential for brick. So it has one of the strongest floodgate effects that will be global on your opponent's board, even if they are out the fighter mode. And that's one of the biggest plus points, but you need to get through to that point. And I think it's easier for some other decks to just OTK or get into a chill position where you can just control the board and not be entirely outed by a fighter mode. Apart from that, so Hudimon is really hit by this. Fighter mode would hit it, but Hudimon can play the game, right? They can still play the game before that, so prepare for that, or after that they can just Venusmon or something. There are plays, and the other top decks, like, they don't care about fighter mode, even if someone high rolls them. I don't think fighter mode Virus Imperial will do something. Dark Masters are just fun decks, right? It's just a fun deck. I've seen a lot of people tinker with some Kari Kamiya. If you add 2 security, suspend to gain 1, and then you could choke your opponent to 1. Or also the Matt Ishida, that if one of your Digimon gets deleted, you could suspend to gain 1. That's cool and all, right? That's just not it. That's not the kind of non-engine you want to supplement your deck with. Like, making your deck more memory efficient, it's kind of a good idea, but if that's what your deck actually needs, and the other part of it, if you are efficient enough to choke your opponent 1, all you're doing is maybe 1 deletion or 1 bottom deck or 1 Digivolve per turn. Let's not talk about Metal Silver, who just freezes 1 Digimon. Have you ever heard about breeding? Have you seen, like, the Tsunarizamon from the Magnetic players that just don't care about Dark Masters? Like, Dark Masters could literally do all of their best plays for 3 turns, and then it would get OTK'd by Magnetic Draw with the Pyramidimon. That gets Sex Plus and so yeah, I don't know. Myotismon with Digital Gate open is nuts, dude. But it's also a purple deck, so I don't think it will be a regional winner. But I don't know, it's like in the middle, right? You're obviously a victim to the new Gallantmon, but you also are a pretty good winner from the Digital Gate open. So I would say the support puts it in the middle, and with more consistency by Digital Gate open against other matchups, that's insane. Like, this deck is nuts, as we've seen with Toto, right? I think that could show up in Top Cut again. Moving on, Sakuyamon has lost a lot of its teeth. It has fallen off so hard. I would maybe still put it in local if you have like a person that really wants to play Sakuyamon and puts in the time, puts in the effort, puts in the Shakamon to get Sec Plus and give your opponent Sec Minus. Yeah, I think Sakuyamon is something to be reckoned with, but just on local level, I don't think it will show up in Top Cut. It hasn't shown up in Top Cut in the past, and I don't think the release of Hudimon is a plus for Sakuyamon. So Mother Eater is actually recycle bin. Let's not talk about that. Diusmon is maybe the same. I think it's a little bit better, because if we're talking about Appmon, we'll put Poseidon in the recycle bin. I am the biggest Poseidon hater on the planet. I thought it looked kind of cool, and the idea was kind of nice that you leave your opponent 1 stack and you just got blocker and 20,000 DP, so they couldn't go into CS security without sacrificing something important. Yeah, but no, I'm the biggest hater. Let's just leave that in the recycle bin. Next up, Mastemon is, to my surprise, so to my knowledge, it's really strong, and because it can abuse a lot of the good cards that it has had in the past, but now much better with Partition and the Mastemon that actually like can stick on the board. It has Barrier, it has a Scapegoat, it floats with Partition. All of these things are insane, right? It's super crazy. Also, we've got, like, if you have both the Mirates, like the EX6 and the BT11 Mirai on the board, you can do whatever you want. You will have combo. You can, if you have these cards on the board, it's a custom game. You can do whatever you want. You can play Sandbox. It's so nuts. And then you also got Patamon, which can digivolve into any Gatomon for 0 0. You've got the reduction Gallantmon, you've got the gain memory Gallantmon if the security is removed. You also got the, what was the last one? The surge Gallantmon, which can also search your tamer, by the way. So not only do you get the Digimon pieces, but also the tamers, which are insane. So yeah, Mastemon is kind of nuts. Poseidon can finish really fast if you have the pieces. Poseidon can finish really fast if you have the pieces. Same thing. Like, but the amount of pieces that you need, if you have just one level 5, you are in such a bad position. The idea of you need to app fusion to have like memory efficient plays is so hard to facilitate sometimes. And I think Ojamon digivolves for 4 and Poseidon also digivolves for 4. So if you don't want to digivolve for 4 into Ojamon, you need to find the app link on level 4s. And you have a 16 champion level Digimon, which not all can app fuse into each other. Some can app fuse into Ojamon, some can app fuse into Beautymon. So I don't know. It's the same thing with the other Appmon decks, and this one just makes your opponent with the alternative links, makes your opponent not suspend with some Digimon. Now, what about the best decks, which are just single stack decks? I don't know. It's kind of hard. Now, Amy Aiba is here for the CS trade deck, and I think CS without Hudimon, so the BT23 CS, is a local winner, or even worse. I think it's somewhere between this, because Alphamon and Diaboromon were two of the strongest cards in CS, and I guess with Alphamon, with the unsuspend and ShineGreymon inherited, you can kind of do 4 checks and OTK in a way, which only means after some chip damage you can OTK, right? But it's not like, or if you have a second body, but it's still memory efficient. Like, I could see it winning locals, but not anymore, right? Because Hudimon is just better CS. I'm torn apart. We don't have that many fun decks, so I'll just say CS is fun deck. And now looking at the other decks, it would be at the top of fun deck tier list. Yeah, and I think everything that we put at local winner might be a little bit stronger. And maybe Pale is a little bit worse. I don't know. Don't forget that CS now can use the new Royal Knights card. Oh, that makes him stronger. Good thing from chat. Yeah. I think CS with the new cards with Craniamon. Oh my god, Craniamon. And you've got Takumi Aiba for protection. Okay, never mind. This guy comes somewhere here. And no one saw the Imperialdramon move down. Let's actually talk about Examon. I think Examon is it's a fun deck. So, in preparation of this tier list, right, I have talked to my local Examon players. I've played Examon today as well. And first of all, I thought Examon was like Omnimon, but with less piece requirements. Why? Right? Because you don't need a tamer. Omnimon always needs tamers. They either need a Taikamiya, a Mad Ishida, or a Nokia to start their turns, to start their plays. Otherwise, you can play 11 memory and go into the old cards, or pay 12 memory and do nothing because the new cards actually need a Nokia. That's where I was with Examon not needing a tamer. Like, obviously that's just much better, and just play enough level 5s so you can just go into a level 4, slam the level 5, digivolve the other level 5 because of the your turn, the new level BT20 level 4s, and then you just go into Examon at the end of turn. What I didn't realize is you need Draco X for the end of turn, or the old cards, like the old level 5s with end of turn digivolve. So you're always looking for one of those pieces, which is kind of a Nokia that you're looking for, because if you don't have end of turn, you don't have DNA. That's pretty hard. If you don't have Nokia, you can go into Omni, I guess. So that's kind of hard. Next up, we've got, you still need to find both level 5s with different colors, right? You don't have something that's like a substitute for both colors. And I've seen Decklist play only 10 level 5s, which means you play 5-5, which is worse than Omnimon. Those play 6-6. And also, look at Omnimon. They have so many cards that they can just search cards or play, get things back from trash. They've got Mirai BT22, which can just trash something you don't need from hand and draw 2 cards and then load into the tamer that you need. And guess what? The tamer plays out a Gammamon, which you can also search again. And then you look at Examon. Examon has BT11 Dracomon. And guess what? Dracomon bottom decks Draco X. What is that? Draco X is one of the best cards in the deck, which can actually digivolve for 0 into a champion and gets you the end of turn digivolve that you need, end of turn DNA, and you can search it with the only rookie searcher. What the fuck, right? And what do you put in there? A memory boost, like the dual color memory boost. And let me get started on those dual color memory boosts. If you have the green and the blue, like the Jade memory boost, and you get the Dracomon, which is red, the BT21, good fucking luck finding the colors, right? You need to digivolve on top of the start of main Dracomon. That makes no sense. Why would you digivolve on top of something that has the start of main in your raising? That's so inefficient. Also, okay, look. There's the other memory boost, the Wisteria memory boost, which can gain red, blue, and red. That's kind of nice. That one does not search the Groundmon with the end of turn DNA. And how many cards do you have end of turn DNA, which you need for your combo because you play level 5 hard. You don't digivolve, you play level 5. Yeah, guess what? The old Groundmon is not searched by that. So you have cards that just don't work at every point in the game. And then you look at Omnimon, they have a Gammamon which searches top 3 for 2 cards to pick up. And then you'll be like, oh no, you just mentioned BT11 Dracomon. No, BT11 Dracomon gets 1 Examon, and the other thing has to be something with Dramon in its name. Again, none of your rookies. If you commit that rookie is gone. Jesus. Examon is a fun deck. It can't even win locals. Maybe my list was ass because I don't have EX3 cards, but no, I had some EX3. Don't hate me. But Examon has been such a pain for me personally. Moving on, Galaxy. Galaxy will not be playing Grace Nova because ban list has Sayo and Co on the ban list. One of the strongest variants of Galaxy is again Galaxy Toolbox, which goes into Gallantmon X, which goes into Hexablow, which goes into Diana, which is still Diana's Galaxy, right? The other cards were not, but these are pretty good cards, and I think it is at least local winner, like in the middle of the local winners, if not also a top cut contender. It's like high B tier, really, really high B tier, or maybe low A tier. If we look at the other decks, no, I think it's A tier. I think it's A tier. Like the Tamer, the double Tamer, the Ko and Sayo from EX5 is still one of the best cards ever printed. Like, cheating Digivolution is insane. And they can go into their reduction level 5s and then put the level 5s down for another level 5 that can do everything. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the Tamer, and I'm really impressed with the deck. They can cheat out the Tamer, by the way. Draw additional cards, gain additional digivolving effects. This is pretty insane, right? Gain additional sources for the Apocalymon, whatever. If Rock stays as popular as it is, Galaxy will have a hard time since the Diaboromon is really, really good for Galaxy, but also triggers all the Rock inheritance. Okay, that pushes Galaxy down by quite a bit because, yeah, as Chad mentioned, if you trash any of the Rock inheritance, Digivolve, you will be Digivolved. And at some point, I think Diaboromon trashes 4 Digivolution cards. So if you trash all of the opponent's cards, because he only has 3 and one of them is Digivolve, you're in a pretty bad spot, right? Okay, I'll still leave it at A tier. It's a really, really nice deck. It's memory efficient. It draws like 10 million cards in 2 turns. So nice. Really, really nice. Next up, Belfemon. I think Belfemon is a fun deck. Not much to say about that, right? It might be local winner if your opponent doesn't know how to read cards, which is pretty likely, right? You're playing Digimon, which is a trading card game, and trading card players don't read cards. So there's a chance for that. But I don't know. You're unaffected for 1 turn. One Belfemon sleep mode can stop attacks, the other one can suspend Digimon. Then you've got Fortitude, you've got the new Rage mode, you've got the old Rage mode with Sec Plus. So you do stuff, but I think doing 2 checks and ending on sleep mode, man, I don't know if that's I don't think anyone would be mad if I just left it in fun deck, right? Next up, we've got Bagra Army, and Bagra Army is at least local winner with a small caveat. So Bagra has a lot of cards they can use from BT10, from EX10, and from some sets in between. I'm not the biggest Bagra player, but Yu is one of the best Digi-Cross tamers because he pseudo Digi-Crosses with 3 cards from under him, each for a reduction of 2. And he can do that on top of any Digi-Cross within the Bagra Army. So I think if you have a level 6 that costs 12, they most likely can Digi-Cross themselves for -4, which leaves them at 8. And you can also Digivolve for Digi-Cross for 6 on top of that. So a 12 cost Mega level would only cost 2 with 1 U and with itself. So that's kind of nice. And one of the upsides, you don't only need to play Bagra Army cards, you can also play the cards that have been kind of designed for hunters, because hunters always play out by name. So you can always play out a Digimon Tamer card with Yu Amano in its name, which is obviously the best card ever printed for Bagra Army. That's pretty nice. Also, you have generic save in its text support. Stuff like Digivolving into something with save in its text reduced with the the Tagire from BT21. That's kind of nice. Also, start of main, put something under a Tamer, gain 1, draw 1 is always a nice effect because the Tagire can also be cheated out. All in all, I think Hunter's Bagra is the strongest version of the deck, and that kind of Bagra Army I would place in local win. Oh, second to last, Gammamon. Gammamon has got a lot of support, and let me tell you, the new support cards are insane. The new Goldus Gammamon is nuts. It can puck something under from trash or hand, I believe, and then gain 1 memory or something like that, or Digivolve for 1 reduced into trash. Stuff like that. Like, you have crazy combo turns, right? So So I still put it a fun deck because the deck spins in circles, has plus DP and deletes on the board. Let's give it a local winner. Come on. Let's put it in fun deck. I'm kidding. So again, Gammamon just deletes the board. It floats into a lot of pieces and it ends up nowhere. It kind of ends up on a new Regulus Gammamon. Regulus Gammamon is the correct one, the level 5, which can end of turn if you have 5 sources attack again. That's kind of nice. But he costs 5 for Digivolution in its own archetype. The last time I've seen that was, what was it called? Shroudmon for Pulsemon. That one Digivolve for 5. And that one was awful. And that one was level 6. I get a level 6 for 5 cost, but a 6 for a level 5 for 5 cost. Jesus Christ, what have they done to you? You really need to find the option like strongest bond or between brothers or something, because otherwise I don't see what you're doing with that. Well, let's Gammamon. Prove me wrong. I think that's just a fun deck. And lastly, we also got what they're called, Royal Base. I love Royal Base. Royal Base has been on my radar for a long time because I got some cards from the special release. What was it? 2.0 or 2.5, and like Royal Base was something that I just on the side like collected, and as I've collected it, I obviously want to play it, and I played it on DCGO, and I just got stomped by every deck, like even B tier decks. Like let's say the top 60% of Digimon just crush Royal Base, and I think the new support, am I coping here? Is it a local winner? I don't know. The new support is insanely strong and then puts it up a step from fun decks. It's a local winner now. Mark my words, next local you'll see me on my opponents, right? It will be the future. Like the new supports is all a 4-off, apart from maybe the Funbimon. But you can Tamer cheat. You can get a new Tamer, which is nice. It gains 2 memory. You can use Royal Base, which is not a new card, but anyways, Royal Base is really good option card. You've got Protection on level 5, and you also got an Ace, which puts something under. You can turn steal with the Ace because the new Tamer suspends for memory all turns. Cinema. And on top of that, either you just build up a board which is too big for your opponent, but maybe your board is too big, and you've got so much, like that's pretty easy to build up because you've got the Funbimon, which reduces Digivolution from itself. You've got Royal Base, which reduces with Digivolution. You've got the new Tamer, which gives you memory. You've got Protoform, which can also reduce Digivolution and give you more security if your stacks are outed, which is kind of fine. If you move out from Raising, Protoform for 0 Digivolve, because you'll either have the Funbimon or you'll have the Royal Base in security. You'll be pretty good. Like you just have level 4, you've got Protoform, and if you put Protoform on there, guess what? At start of main, you put something under the security, put the top card, and guess what? Protoform is back there. So you just recovered 1. You can reduce by 1 again, and you can recover again if you get that Protoform, if you get that stack outed somehow, apart from Digivolve. If they Digivolve you are down to a rookie, that's kind of bad, but apart from that, again, it's really nice. And at the end of the day, you can just OTK with Tiger Vespermon, which has 17k, 8 unsuspense. This is insane. I love this deck. And with that concludes the tier list. Do you guys have any hard feelings right now, or do you think this is a good list? I miss ghosts. Brother, have you read Gallantmon? Like BT23 Gallantmon. So there is a way Digivolving an on play that says you can't play Tamers or Digimon from trash until the end of your opponent's turn. No, your opponent can't play Digimon Tamers from trash. I did miss Justimon. Justimon is right here at local winner. Because Justimon is, it's triple alliance, like at the 2nd or 3rd turn, which is kind of nice. But Genku Turtle might be a little bit stronger. I mean, Genku Turtle might be able to use Justimon as well, I guess. Like as a 2-off if you could find the space. Or like a mixture of those. I don't know. Some stuff like that. Let's take a look at Digislots. So Digislots is also a guy from Germany. I saw him on some regionals, and I'm really interested in his videos and his kind of evaluation from everything, right? If we look at this, we see a lot of things that make a lot of sense, right? We see Magnetic Draw at the top tier. Makes absolute sense. We see Gallantmon not far behind. Also makes a lot of sense. I would put it a little bit higher, but whatever. And then let's collect everything that makes sense, right? Royal Knights also close tier 1, tier 1.5. I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of perspective. If your deck loses to Royal Knights, I can see how that's your perspective. perception, but Royal Knights has problems, and they do exist. Apart from that, Mastemon exists. That's pretty cool. The birds exists. Yeah. Bagramon, yeah, also arguably okay. But then we start looking at the entire list a little bit closer, and we see Examon at tier 1. We see Examon being stronger than Gallant. We see Examon being stronger than, I don't know, Sakuyamon stronger than Alphamon, which I think that's CS. We see it being stronger than Gilbert's, stronger than Megidra. I think that's cope on every point of interaction. Nah, brother. Also, Omnimon. Have you ever, like, played 8 rounds in regionals with Omnimon? Like, you will brick. There's no way you can play Omnimon 8 rounds and consistently find your piece. So I can see it winning locals, which is not tier 1. Tier 1, I don't think tier 1 is a local winner. I think tier 1 should be one of the top contenders for regional or like finals events or whatever. I don't know. And I don't think Omnimon is consistent enough. I'm telling you, like, they got a lot of good tools, but that's not it. And guess what? Who has less consistency tools than Omnimon? Examon. We've discussed this. So no, I don't think Omni and Exa can be at tier 1. Exa, no, brother. How do we feel about Belfemon? How do you feel about Belfemon in tier 1.5? I play Omnimon. Even in locals, I brick a lot. Yeah, you see? I've lost just because I can get to do anything because of no tamers. Yeah, that's exactly the point, right? You brick, you can't see your stuff. Especially if you have full combo on hand, but you don't have a tamer because they deleted it or you couldn't see it at all. Like, you're not playing Digimon. You're not digivolving. Like, literally, the new level 6s, they can't digivolve in the entire deck unless you have a Nokia. And you know where my Nokia is? Like, 3 of them are partying at the bottom of my deck, and one of them is in security. But it's the first security, which is trashed by Magnetic Draw. So, yeah. Miraculous Mega Knight loses to Magnetic even on timing questions. That's also one of the funniest things, right? If you go into like the turn where you want to finish with Magnetic Draw, like, your level 6s will be deleted. And the Omnimon player uses Miraculous Mega Knight. And on the Miraculous Mega Knight, or after the Digivolution happens, obviously the turn player, Magnetic Draw, gets to use their trash effects first. And guess what? One of the trash effects is just digivolving your Omnimon so you don't get your one digivolving. I had games as well where I had 5 WarGreymons at the bottom deck. Yeah, so again, Omnimon, let's not talk too long about this. Sidomon only is tier 1.5 if you can see your pieces, and you're not going to see your pieces. Belfemon, whatever. Do you consider Mastemon CS a real deck? Consider Mastemon CS. So here's the question, right? What is stronger, the CS Mastemon or the let's say Mirai Mastemon? I think both of them have kind of a place in this entire discussion, but I don't know which one I would prefer, because pairing CS together with the Mastemon top end, kind of difficult, right? Because you can't find the old like promo Mastemon. You can only find that if you play the EX6 Gatomon that searches. So it has advantages and disadvantages at every corner. Mastemon CS is better. Mastemon more toolbox in OTK and CS style. Okay, yeah, one of the biggest upsides in the CS Mastemon is obviously using the inheritance of the what was it? The inherited of the rookies. They can just put the top card at the bottom, and once that plays, you've got level 5 again to DNA Digivolve. And because the CS Mastemon plays out the level 5, you can DNA immediately. So that's really insane. But I don't know if the OTK on level 6, like on level Mastemon level 6, would be better than Hudimon, right? Because Hudimon DNA is on level 5. They also only got a 4-off in Shakumon, whereas the CS Mastemon has a 4-off in Mastemon. I think you need to do like 20 games of playtesting to see if CS Mastemon or Angels Mastemon, all of that, or Mirai Mastemon better. Mastemon set security to 3 at first. Yeah, that's really insane. Like, it puts it at 3, you alliance double check, then you use the inherited, put something under promo master, and then goodbye. Next up, what else did we have here? Oh, I didn't talk about Dark Animals because there's nothing to talk about Dark Animals. I think the new support is, well, really good. Like, Bandai does a lot of good things to old decks, but that doesn't fix the issue that Dark Animal as itself doesn't exist. And I'm not talking about EX5, I'm talking about BT9 Dark Animal, Undead Dark Animal. Yeah, no, that deck doesn't exist. I don't think that deck exists. We also got a Phoenixmon on here, which I don't know if it's Zexon or if it's like the birds themselves, like a Rudamon, Phoenixmon, and stuff like that. But either way, I think tier 2 might be fine. Virus Imperial, hunters. I don't know why a bunch of Leomon is here. If that's CS, I can see it. If that's Leomon Tribal, I don't see it. And one of the most upsetting things to me is why is Leviamon on tier 2.5? Like, tier 2.5 is really low. I can see the Justimon, but Leviamon on 2.5? Leviamon is one of the few decks that doesn't necessarily need to play by effect out of trash. They rather want you to play by effect out of trash, and when you play out of trash, you just digivolve. They digivolve into Leviamon X, which is nuts, right? I've seen people cut the Biting Crush, but not the 7th Lightning, because the effect from Biting Crush is so hard to set up. Like, you need to play it for 8, and then you need to play out from trash the Leviamon. So I guess that's a reasonable take to cut a Biting Crush, because that one's only triggered if the opponent plays something by effect, and then you need to play him out from trash. So if the Gallantmon really gets some hard impact into the meta, you will not be able to use a Biting Crush, so makes a lot of sense. On the other side, you have some good Tamer removal. You've got level 4 and 6 removal on the Leviamon, and with the Leviamon X deletes level 3, 5, and 7, and the 7th Lightning deletes level 4 and 6. I think leaving 7th Lightning in there is pretty nice, and I think that's all that I want to talk about regarding the meta, unless the chat wants to bring something up.